"Would you like a cup of coffee?" Vanessa asked. "No, I'm in a hurry. I'll grab breakfast at work," Oliver replied. Vanessa looked closely at her husband. He had stopped eating breakfast at home a long time ago, and she couldn't understand why. "I made a great breakfast. Your favorite pancakes. You used to love them. Should I pack them for you to take?" She smiled, hoping her care would please him. But Oliver sighed in annoyance. "Why do you always complicate things? I never take food to work. I'm not a schoolboy. Do you want people to laugh at me? Besides, I don't even like pancakes anymore. We have a great cafe at work where I can order healthy, nutritious meals. There's nothing healthy about pancakes. I'd advise you not to overindulge either, or you'll have even more problems with your figure than you do now," he added with a biting smirk. Vanessa looked at herself in confusion, suddenly self-conscious of every curve. What was wrong with her figure? She thought she looked fine. Oliver grabbed his briefcase, glanced in the mirror to check his suit, and, without looking at his wife once, offered a dry goodbye. "I'm leaving. Don't wait up. I'll be late. We have a meeting today and the boss is ready to tear everyone apart. As the most responsible employee, I'll have to calm everyone down," he said, slamming the door behind him. Vanessa stood by the window, watching him leave. Running her finger along the edge of her cup, she stared blankly, dwelling on his words. It felt like only yesterday that they were warm and close. She was 38 now. She knew she didn't look like she did in her 20s, but was that a reason for such cruelty? As a homemaker, she spent most of her time taking care of the house. She didn't feel the need to spend hours in beauty salons to feel confident. Suddenly, the phone rang. She picked it up and said softly, "Hello." Silence. Vanessa began to lose her patience. This had been happening a lot lately. "If you call again, I'm filing a complaint and they'll find you," she snapped, slamming the receiver down. Later, she mentioned the strange calls to Oliver, but he brushed it off. "Don't pay attention to it. People fool around. I have plenty of competitors at the clinic who would gladly take my place," he smirked. Vanessa knew Oliver worked incredibly hard for his success. He had started at the bottom, working night shifts as a nurse in the ER while going to med school. The work was grueling, the pay was abysmal, and there was no room for growth, but he was relentlessly driven. It was in that very hospital that he met a patient named Vanessa. They fell in love quickly, and Oliver soon quit the hospital to start a new life with her. His journey as a physician was rocky. He changed jobs multiple times, but none brought him satisfaction. Being a surgeon was promising, but only if you were at the right hospital. Financial struggles haunted them, and conversations about having children felt like an impossible dream. Whenever Vanessa brought it up, Oliver would snap. "What children, Vanessa? We can barely make ends meet. If we have a baby, I can't work endlessly. I'm not a robot. Let's drop this. It just ruins my mood." She believed in a better future and supported him through everything. About 5 years ago, everything changed. At a medical conference, Oliver introduced himself to a famous, highly respected surgeon. The confident young doctor impressed the professor, who offered Oliver a position in the city. Oliver didn't even discuss it with Vanessa. They simply packed up and moved. His career skyrocketed. He earned the trust of the clinic's management, and soon they were wealthy. They bought a luxurious house and expensive cars. Oliver insisted Vanessa didn't need to work anymore. She agreed, feeling out of place and intimidated by the fast-paced city and the complex social circles of their new acquaintances. But with success came a void. The housekeepers cleaned, and Oliver rarely ate at home. Vanessa missed the days she lovingly cooked for him. Lately, he was distant. His behavior was changing, and though there was no scent of foreign perfume, her intuition whispered that there was another woman. The phone rang again, pulling her from her thoughts. This time, it was her old friend Maya. Maya used to be a nail technician at a salon Vanessa frequented, but fate had smiled upon her. She married a wealthy man and left her job. They had stayed close, and Maya invited her out for dinner. Unsure when Oliver would be home, Vanessa decided to call his office. When he didn't answer his cell, she called his direct line. "Hello?" A sharp female voice answered. "Hi, I'm sorry, I'm looking for Oliver." "God, who else gave you this number?" The woman snapped. "I've said 100 times, this is a private line for staff, not personal calls. Make an appointment if you need a doctor, but don't call here." Vanessa was stunned. "Excuse me, I didn't know. My husband gave me this number and said I could call any time. I'm his wife." There was a pause. The voice instantly changed. "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. Oliver is busy right now, but I'll tell him you called." The line went dead. Who was that woman? And why was she so incredibly rude? Vanessa pushed the creeping dread aside and got ready to meet Maya. When she arrived at the restaurant, Maya was already waiting, looking like a runway model. At 34, Maya radiated youthful, wealthy energy. "Vanessa, darling, I missed you so much," she beamed, hugging her tightly. Over wine and a lavish dinner, Maya filled the air with stories of her exotic travels. Vanessa listened, captivated but quiet. Eventually, Maya's smile faded into a look of deep concern. "All right, I see it. Something is wrong with you. Health, depression, or is it your husband?" Vanessa sighed, knowing she couldn't hide anything from Maya. "It's Oliver. Something is wrong. I have no proof, just this gut feeling that won't let go. I think there's someone else." She poured her heart out. The late nights, the strange phone calls, his coldness. "Maybe I'm just making it all up," Vanessa muttered, trying to brush it off. Maya didn't laugh. "Why would you think that?" "I trust your intuition. Look, honey, if you aren't sure, there is a way to find out. Don't snoop yourself. Hire a professional. It's not cheap, but it's worth your peace of mind. I have the contact of a very discreet, very good private investigator." Vanessa bit her lip. Hiring a detective felt like crossing a line of trust that could never be uncrossed. "I need some fresh air. I'll be right back," she said, her head spinning from the wine and the heavy conversation. She stood outside for 5 minutes, letting the cool night air clear her mind. Just as she turned to go back inside, a voice called out, "Vanessa, is that you?" She turned around, her heart dropping. Standing before her was Noah. He smiled brightly and closed the distance between them. "Recognize me." Before she could answer, he picked her up in a tight hug. Vanessa was shocked, but then she laughed, leaning into his shoulder. Noah was her high school sweetheart. They had dated for 2 years, and everyone thought they were destined to be married, but life got in the way. He joined the military, his parents moved overseas, and they lost touch completely. The heartbreak had taken her months to get over, eventually fading away when she met Oliver. But seeing him now reignited a spark she thought was long dead. "I can't believe it," Noah said, his eyes locked on hers. "I'm just passing through town. This has to be fate. Have dinner with me." "Oh no, I'm here with a friend. Plus, I'm married. My husband will be worried," Vanessa stammered, pulling back slightly. Noah's face fell slightly, but he quickly recovered. "Married? Well, if you're busy now, please, let's just get coffee tomorrow. I really want to talk to you." Her mind clouded. She agreed, exchanged numbers, and went back inside. The next day, Oliver had already left the house, before she woke up. He hadn't even replied to her text from the night before. Feeling a surge of defiance, she spent far too long picking out an outfit for her coffee with Noah. She arrived 15 minutes early, but Noah was already there. As they drank coffee, they talked about everything. She told him about Oliver, the respected doctor. Noah confessed he had never married. He looked at her with such intensity that she felt flushed. Then the silence fell heavy. "Do you ever wonder how things would have turned out if we hadn't been forced apart?" Noah asked quietly. Vanessa stiffened. "There's no point in thinking about that. We parted ways." "I've thought about it my whole life, Vanessa," he urged. "I can't believe you haven't." She looked away. "Of course I have," she whispered. "I loved you too much to just forget." Sensing her unhappiness, Noah leaned in. "You don't look happy. I can make you happy. I'll take you away with me." Tears pricked her eyes. "It's too late, Noah. I can't just leave my husband because you asked. We've been through too much." Noah nodded respectfully. "I know. If you change your mind, call me. Wherever I am, I'll come for you." Vanessa left the cafe emotionally exhausted but resolute. She needed to know the truth about her marriage once and for all. She dialed Maya. "Give me the detective's number." The detective's office was in an inconspicuous building with no signs. Sitting across from a plain desk, Vanessa felt nervous. The investigator, Declan, was quiet and observant. Usually he only took on wealthy, high-profile clients, but Maya had vouched for Vanessa. "I'm listening," Declan said softly, opening a thin black folder. "I need to know if my husband is cheating on me," she blurted out. "A common request," Declan replied with a faint smile. He asked for Oliver's schedule, car make, and routine. Vanessa talked for a long time, spilling all the details. Declan didn't look at her. He just wrote meticulously by hand. When she finally stopped, expecting a barrage of questions, Declan simply closed the folder. "Excellent. You provided everything I need. I will contact you in 2 weeks." "What about payment?" she asked hesitantly. He wrote a number on a piece of paper. Vanessa was shocked. It was incredibly low. "That's all?" "Yes. Surveillance isn't complicated, and you saved me a lot of time," he said, standing up to signal the meeting was over. Vanessa left, feeling a strange sense of relief, but as she drove home, she realized something terrible. With all the stress, she had completely forgotten that this Saturday was Oliver's birthday. When she got home, Oliver was already there. "Wow, you're early," she noted. "Is it a crime to come home on time?" he snapped defensively. He claimed a surgery was canceled due to complications, but when Vanessa asked about it, he exploded. "Why are you interrogating me? You know nothing about medicine. You're starting to annoy me." Vanessa bit back her tears. "We used to talk. Am I stupid now, or are you hiding something?" Oliver sighed, playing the victim. "I'm just exhausted. Look, about my birthday, I invited some colleagues over. Food is catered. Just hire cleaners." Vanessa felt entirely alienated from her own life. "How many guests?" "About 20. Saturday arrived. Vanessa had gone to a salon, updated her hair, and bought a beautiful dress, trying to reclaim her confidence. But when the guests arrived, she felt completely out of place among the glamorous crowd. Oliver pulled her aside. "What's wrong with your eyes? Fake eyelashes. You look like a cheap doll. Take them off tomorrow." Stung, she retreated to the living room, only to freeze. Standing there was a stunning woman in her early 20s. She had long dark hair, a flawless figure, and was wearing an outrageously revealing backless dress. Oliver was hovering over her, laughing and maintaining intense eye contact. Vanessa approached him when the girl stepped away. "Who is that?" "Chloe. She's a doctor at the clinic, he said, visibly nervous. Vanessa watched Chloe. She looked far too young to be a senior doctor, and she kept checking her watch. Later, Oliver pulled Vanessa aside again. Arthur, the clinic owner, organized a VIP club night for the staff. I have to go right now. I can't take you. No ticket. Plus, you hate clubs. Go to bed, get some rest. You're leaving me on your birthday, she asked, fuming. It's networking, Vanessa. I'll be back in an hour or two, he promised, kissing her cheek before rushing out. Vanessa put on the new lingerie Maya had convinced her to buy, hoping to surprise him when he returned. But an hour passed. Then 3. She fell asleep with the lights on. At 5 a.m., she woke up alone in bed. Panicking, she called him repeatedly, but his phone was off. Just as she was about to call the hospitals, the front door opened. "Where were you?" she cried. "Why are you yelling?" Oliver said calmly, taking off his shirt. "I was at the club. Bad reception. We talked business." "It's not a big deal." "Business. At a nightclub until dawn." "We were in a private VIP room," he scoffed. "You're overreacting. Maybe you need to see a doctor. Early menopause, perhaps. Don't take it lightly." Vanessa was speechless at his cruelty. The next morning, she woke up to a flashing phone screen. 10 missed calls and 5 texts from Declan. She called him immediately. "Good morning," Declan said, his voice sharp. "I've been parked outside your house since 7 a.m. I saw your husband leave, which means you were home all night." Vanessa froze. "Yes, I took a sleeping pill." "Let's get to business," Declan said. "I have the report. Come out to my car in 30 minutes. Vanessa showered quickly, her heart pounding. She walked out and got into Declan's car. They drove to a quiet cafe. Declan handed her a thick file of handwritten notes and photographs. Her hand shook as she looked at the first photo. It was Oliver and the young woman from the party, Chloe, smiling outside the clinic. The next photo showed Oliver at a romantic restaurant, a red rose on the table. The third photo showed Chloe arriving, taking the rose and smiling intimately at him. "She's a doctor at his clinic," Vanessa whispered. Declan took a sip of water. "No, she isn't." Oliver said she was. "She is connected to the clinic, but not as an employee," Declan said evenly. "That is Chloe. She's the wife of Arthur, the man who owns the clinic." The realization hit Vanessa like a freight train. Oliver wasn't just cheating. He was sleeping with his boss's wife, and he had the audacity to bring her into their home. "They've been together for 2 years," Declan continued. "They meet at hotels whenever Arthur travels. Look at this." He slid another photo across the table. It was Oliver, carrying a shopping bag from a luxury boutique, arriving at Chloe's mansion. "She was wearing the dress from that bag at your party," Declan noted. "And what did he tell you last night?" "He said Arthur threw a private VIP party for the staff." Declan smiled with dark pity. "There was no VIP party. Your husband went to a club for 30 minutes to be seen, and then he left with Chloe. They spent the entire night in a hotel room. I took photos of them leaving at dawn." Vanessa closed her eyes as the tears finally spilled over. The betrayal was absolute. She excused herself to the restroom and cried until there was nothing left. But when she looked in the mirror, she didn't see a victim. She remembered Noah's warm, loving eyes. She deserved better. She walked back out, paid Declan, and took the folder. "I'm leaving this life behind," she said with newfound steel in her voice. When Vanessa got home, Oliver was in his study. "Where were you?" he asked without looking up. "Running errands," she replied coldly. She waited until he left the house, no doubt heading to see Chloe. She walked into his study, opened his laptop, and logged into his email. She found the master contact list for the clinic including Arthur's direct email. She plugged in the flash drive Declan had given her containing the digital photos. Without hesitation, she attached the most damning hotel photos of Oliver and Chloe and sent them to Arthur. Then, for good measure, she sent the email to every single contact in Oliver's address book. The next morning, half an hour after Oliver left for work, Vanessa's phone rang. "Vanessa, it's a disaster," Oliver screamed. "Someone hacked my email. They sent fake photos of me to the whole clinic." "It was me," she said calmly. The line went dead silent. "What?" "I sent them. And you know they aren't fake. I know she's Arthur's wife. I just have one question. How could you bring your mistress into my home? You lied to me for years while I waited for you." "Are you insane?" Oliver roared. "Have a great day at work, Oliver. I'm sure Arthur will take good care of you." She hung up. At the clinic, Oliver was met with hostile stares. His assistant quit on the spot. Minutes later, Arthur stormed into Oliver's office. Before Oliver could speak, Arthur punched him square in the jaw. "You're done," Arthur hissed, towering over him. "I gave you everything and you touched my wife. Your career is over. I will make sure you never work in medicine again, not even as a janitor. Get out before I kill you." Oliver packed his box in agonizing silence. Nobody looked at him. Nobody said goodbye. Meanwhile, Vanessa packed her bags and left the house for the last time. She checked into a hotel, called a lawyer to freeze her assets, and initiated the divorce. Then, her hands shaking slightly, she dialed a number she had saved just days ago. "Noah," she breathed when he answered. "I'm leaving him. If you still want to, I'm ready." 1 month later, Vanessa stood in the arrivals terminal of a Paris airport. She looked around, unable to believe she was actually in Europe. Suddenly, a familiar face appeared in the crowd. Noah walked toward her, holding a massive bouquet of flowers, his smile brighter than the city lights. "Hello, beautiful," he said, taking her hand. "I've waited my whole life for this." Vanessa threw her arms around his neck, finally feeling the warmth of a true, honest love. She was finally home,